Hi, my name is Bill Boudreau. I'm a conservation officer with New Hampshire Fish and Game, and I'm also the dive team leader. And I want to talk to you about a 42-year-old cold case that our dive team was called in to help solve.
A major clue to a 40-year mystery lies at the bottom of the Connecticut River in Lancaster.
For them, just not knowing for 42 years what happened to their mother, where she went, the things that are going through their heads of what could have happened to her. Even at 80 something years old, her daughter was just happy to know what happened to her mother. So that was pretty great.
The vehicle that was found yesterday and confirmed by our dive team is a 1972 Pontiac Le Mans with a license plate of OB610, which is the vehicle that was registered to Miss Leeman at that time.
So basically, Alberta had been missing for 43 years. She was last seen at her residence in Gorham in 1978 in July. Her purse and a cup of coffee were left sitting on the kitchen table. So there's kind of some weird circumstances behind it. A big search was initiated. Her 1972 Pontiac Le Mans was also missing. After being approached by the detective, the Side Scan Sonar Team, which is led by CO Joe Canfield, he reached out to retired conservation officers, retired police officers, retired detectives, retired troopers who worked on the case back in 1978. And basically, he figured out that Leeman had lived near the Androscoggin River in Gorham. So the initial side scan searching occurred near her residence in late 2019. The theory being that she lived near the river. Maybe somehow her vehicle and her ended up in the river by her house in the Androscoggin River. Basically, Joe conducted a bunch of searches, numerous searches in the Androscoggin River. The sonar team would go up there, they'd scan sections of the river. This went on for a couple summers. Unfortunately, they didn't have any luck. And then CO Joe Canfield, his wife, bought him a book for Christmas. The book is called Tales Told in the Shadows of the White Mountains. It's basically about mysteries up in the North Country in Coos County. And one of the stories that's in that book is about Alberta Leeman and how she disappeared back in 1978. After reading this book, CO Canfield realized that Alberta had family members at the time and currently that were living on the Vermont side of the Connecticut River. If she were to drive to those relatives' house, it would take her along the Connecticut River on the Vermont side. With that new information that he had discovered from that book that his wife gave him for Christmas, in August of 2021, CO Canfield organized a Side Scan Sonar Team training on the Connecticut River.
Search crews had conducted their training sessions in the Connecticut River in Lancaster, and they thought there was a high probability Alberta Leeman somehow ended up in the river back in July of 1978.
This quote training was conducted adjacent to the route that Leeman would have traveled to visit her family members in Vermont. They were there. I remember when it happened. I knew they were going up there. They had told me that that's what they were doing. They went up there, and within probably, I want to say it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So they probably had only been side scanning for an hour and a half or 2 hours. They sent me a text saying that they had located an upside down vehicle. And those answers, it was definitely well worth it. And she was very appreciative. The family was very appreciative. The dive team has been one of my most rewarding parts of my career. I've been on the dive team for 7 or 18 years now, and our divers are really good. They want to work, they want to make these recoveries, they want to find the evidence. They work really hard to do that. They train really hard to do it. It can be a dangerous job, but they realize it's an important job. Everybody's volunteering to be on this team. It's not something they have to do as part of being a conservation officer. Technology has been huge for us, especially in the last few years. We've been lucky enough to get some help from the Wildlife Heritage Foundation to buy equipment that we've never had. We've also gotten other grants from Homeland Security. So we've been able to buy equipment that our dive team has never had, and it has made us a lot more efficient. We're able to bring closure to families even faster than we ever have in the past, where in the past you could be on a dive mission for a drowning for multiple days. Now we're doing it in hours.